Hey, Alyssa, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, tell us who you are, what you do.
Yes, I am Alyssa Ash. I am one of the principals and co-owners at AOR. We're located here in Denver, a creative and digital firm. We focus mainly on, we focus on branding, marketing, and web. So we do a little bit of everything for the most part, and primarily focus on real estate development and municipalities. We really like to work with verticals that are focused on connection and community, and also our super sweet spot is where those two come together with economic development departments, housing solutions, things like that. So
Very cool. Awesome. Well, how did you guys get started?
So AOR was founded in 1992. It's been around for a while. I can't do the math right now. It's too early. But we are actually the third group of owners. We purchased it. Me and my two business partners purchased the agency 2 years ago from our previous owners.
Awesome.
The agency got started just small and has grown over time.
Well, tell us too, since you guys are the third round of keeping, this, and that's really cool, right? Like when my agency sold, they really just bought us for clients and revenue, and then we sold again, and then that name just got, it never went on. It never lived on. And so when I hear businesses live on, because a lot of times as the founder, it's our baby, right? Like you go through a lot of different emotions. So the owner that you bought it from, did they buy into it, or were they an employee and then bought into it? What's that story?
They bought into it maybe 13 or 14 years ago. So the original owners had it for quite a while. And then our previous owners bought into an external sale at that point. And one of the main things that they really wanted to do was keep that culture intact, because the founders had such a strong culture and, had a great foundation for the agency. And so that was definitely one of the goals of the previous owners who we purchased it from.
I mean, what were they designing in 92? They had to be print designing. Like I started my business in 99 and websites were maybe 2 years before then. So
very print design. Yeah. They actually had worked in-house. Both of them, the pair that founded it, had worked in-house in creative departments at financial institutions. And they were sick of it. They wanted to kind of do it themselves and do it for other people. And so, so they broke out and did the agency. And it was all like direct mail and
oh God, licking the stamps.
And like EDOs, executive door openers and that whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
When I started, we were doing a lot of the same stuff. We had moved a little bit more into like high tech B2B. But that's part of that's part of why they brought me on.
Yeah, we did a lot of die cuts, if you remember.
You got to get fancy with the printing at that point,
right? Like one of my favorite pieces we did, we were marketing like these covers for lounge chairs. And so we had this die cut of this lounge chair that when you opened it up from the bottom, it would flip the lounge chair with the cover on it. It was like, I still remember, I wish I could find that. I was just so cool that we designed that.
People did spend a lot of money and did some really cool stuff with print back in the day, for sure.
Well, print was so
people
easy
still do.
too.
Right?
Like you design it, you just make sure the bleeds are right and everything, like no typos. And then you're done. You don't have to worry about all the different technology killing it.
Yeah.
For
sure.
All right, let's kind of skip ahead to maybe a couple of years before you and your partners bought the business from the second owner. Did they kind of give you like guidance ahead of time saying, I want you eventually to buy this or to be owners? Like walk us through that.
Yeah. So I have been with AOR for almost 15 years. One of my business partners is also 15, the other's 10. So the three of us have been working together since we were, a much smaller agency. We're doing mostly print. Like we've seen a lot of transition. And it got to the point where the three of us were already kind of leading the agency. We were, the directors of the three different departments. So one of my partners is focused more on the client side and sales. The other is more operations and finance. And then I focus mostly strategy and solutions. So, leading the creative and digital teams. So going into COVID, at that point, all three of us were kind of just running the day to day. The owners had taken a step back and we had taken a step forward. And that was a very gradual process over time where they kept taking a step back and we kept taking a step forward until we were, pretty much running it. And we had a conversation pre-COVID, I want to say like November, December, before, COVID really hit, where they just kind of floated it by us, like very casually the first time,
Like what? Like, how did they bring it up? Because I think this is really interesting for a lot of people listening in, because they don't think about selling it to their employees because they're like, they don't have more, like, they'll be like, our employees, I know what we pay them. How can they afford to pay us, what we need? So yeah. What did they float by you?
In that regard, I think the three of us, it was really helpful that there's three of us, right, to kind of lessen that investment. But they pretty much, they give us a pretty long runway. I think they said like 5 to 10 years. We're thinking about getting out of the agency. Is it something you guys would be interested in owning? Early on, we didn't talk a lot about the financial part of it or the sales or the investment. It was really them, I think, just trying to get a pulse on whether or not we were interested in that. And I kind of think they knew. And that was part of the reason they, had us in mind, was we were all three pretty entrepreneurial and we're already leading some things. So yeah, pretty casual. And then, as time went on, the conversation started getting a little bit more detailed and a little bit more serious. I remember thinking that first meeting, we all looked at each other like, wait, what? Like, we were kind of surprised, honestly.
Did it scare you guys where you were like, oh crap, they want to sell, someone's going to buy it, they're going to change it, we're screwed, like we got to go start our own? Or
no, not at all. I never had that feeling. And I think part of that was that because of the runway, because they said 5 to 10 years. And they were always really adamant about it being an internal sale because they wanted to make sure that the culture stayed intact and that everyone was protected. And right off the bat, they just gave us a lot of confidence and like, this is their plan. And even though I can only speak to myself, or speak for myself, I remember thinking, I don't know if I'm ready for this. And I don't know if I'm going to be ready for this in 5 years, But just over time, they just built our confidence and again, took a step back. We took a step forward and we just like gradually proved to ourselves to the point where
I'm already doing it. I'm already running this thing.
When the acquisition went through, it felt like both with our team, with us, it didn't feel like a big change. It didn't feel like a huge shift because we had just gradually done it over so many years.
Okay. Yeah. I chatted with someone last week that bought into an agency. They were like an industrial engineer. I'm like, what the hell? How did you come from that to buying, an agency? And, he used a SBA loan, right? And not many people think about that too, of like a person that has never come from, the agency world and then buying into it, like that's scary, let alone, right? Like, and that's why we do this podcast. Like, you just be like, there's so many options out there. You just don't know it. So, okay. So, when it got closer, right, they've kind of prepped you. You guys are running the day-to-day operations already. The owners are kind of, in the background. Can you walk us through, I mean, obviously not the numbers, but was there like pay over time? Did you guys do a loan? Walk us through that.
Yeah. Well, what complicated this a little bit is that COVID did hit, right? And so we go from having this initial conversation to like one of the biggest disruptors in the company's history, right? And so in a lot of ways, COVID, I think helped kind of solidify like the owners even kind of falling further back because we all went virtual and they of course helped us with like the transition and the communications with the team and all of that. But as COVID went on, they fell further and further back out of the day-to-day. And so, but COVID did complicate things from an acquisition perspective, just because everything was so unpredictable. The stock market tanked right there at the beginning, and we kept talking to the owners, like, it started as that 5 to 10, and then it started speeding up, right? And so I think we actually the acquisition ended up going through like 3 years after that initial conversation.
Huh?
3 or 4 years, maybe it was 4, but that was the hardest part to navigate during COVID was, do we go with an SBA loan? There were a lot of options and we explored them all. Thank God one of my business partners is like the financial guru, because I don't think I could have navigated that on my own. But the interest rates were really high and still are really high on SBA loans. So we worked it out with the previous owners, and we have a note with them.
Oh, okay. Owner's financing. Yeah.
Yep.
A lot of people don't realize that. Like, that's always a great option.
And they were so great about working with us and finding something that worked for all three of us in our own, personal financial situations and risk tolerance and all of that. So I'm glad we've, that is true. We learned so much throughout the process in terms of how it all works.
Is there anything you would do different?
Is there anything I would do different? I feel like we did a really good job of just doing the due diligence to make sure we were making the right decision. As of right now, I haven't learned any hard lessons on any decisions that we made, but
it was
a few years.
you guys were running the company anyway, so it was like, unless there was any. And was it an asset purchase or was it a full-on purchase? Like, you bought liabilities too?
Asset purchase.
Okay, good. Yeah, I always tell everybody, especially at the size a lot of people are right now, asset purchases is the way to go. Because you never know. Like, even if you were a COO of the agency, like, there could be hidden things that maybe you didn't know about. So it was good.
Yeah, and we went back and forth on that for a while. We had to look into both of them, and ultimately it came down to an asset purchase.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. That's great. Like, it's just, I know when I was going through, selling our agency, I never even thought about going to the employees.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And going, do you guys want this? Like, do you want to, a lot of them, they were already on what we had, like our key employee program, where when we sold 10% of the profits would go to the key people that we designated. And so never even crossed our mind. Like, I didn't even realize that until maybe a couple years ago, honestly. Like, it's just, that's the cool thing, is like, you're always learning, and people think, oh, you've sold an agency and you work with all these agencies, everything. I'm like, no, I learn something every day.
Yeah. And I'm sure people will do it a million different times going forward, or a million different ways going forward. Yeah, it worked out really well. And I do think that the important piece of that is just the owners really preparing us, because we were pretty young for ownership. And while we were comfortable, running the day-to-day, there was still a little bit of imposter syndrome involved and whatnot. And they just believed in us so wholeheartedly. And just, again, put us in the position to succeed. So
I think everybody has the imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
No matter what stage you're at.
I think it's healthy.
Right? Like, I get on stages sometimes, I'm like, why the hell am I here? Like, I shouldn't.
Why are these people listening to me?
Like, no. Like, how did I trick these people to let me in? Or,
right.
I think we all have that. I think that's good. Right? Like, because as soon as we don't let people in the mastermind if they think they figured out everything.
Right. That's where the ego comes in, right?
Right. Like, they think they're God's gift to everything. I'm like, all right, well, keep doing that. You're good.
Yeah, I've heard some interviews with like professional athletes that say they've never had imposter syndrome, and it's a little bit of a red flag.
Yeah, they're just not being truthful,
Yeah,
right? Like I just don't
or they're
believe
a
that.
narcissist.
Or they're fucking crazy. So
I think it might be the latter.
you never know.
In a lot of
Um,
cases.
how long was the owner's financing? Is it over a long period of time? Like 10 years,
It's
5 years, 2
it's
years?
just over 5 years. It's a 5-year note, and
Okay.
then we'll probably need to turn to the SBA at that point.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
There personal guarantees in there as well?
No,
Good for you. That's good.
no. I mean, again, this is where like they knew we were young. They knew that we were like very actively trying to build our wealth, and also
Good.
we had built a lot of trust between all of us over a
Yep.
long period of time. So
Yeah. Do they still advise you guys at all?
yeah, we work with yeah, they were a couple, and yeah, we still work with them every once in a while. Just kind of touching base. We
Yeah.
don't really necessarily they don't really advise us too much, but we're still in touch.
That's good. I
Yeah.
know if I sold to my team, I would want to meet with them at least once a quarter and be almost like the chairman of the board and be like,
Yeah.
how's it going? Just so I can help them. And make sure it just keeps going.
Yeah. And we definitely touch base like more often at the beginning,
That's good.
and then it's kind of spread
Well,
out over time.
well, that's awesome, Alyssa. I'm happy for you guys that it's all working out.
Thank you.
And it for everyone, right? That's the sign of a great deal. Is like it worked out for everyone. It might not have been perfect for everyone, and that's also
Mhm.
a sign of a great deal on both sides. But is there anything I didn't ask you that you think would benefit the listeners listening in?
No, I mean, we talked about like think of your employees, and I think part of that is they might not be ready right now, but do they have those traits that can really turn into ownership someday? Are they entrepreneurial? Do do they focus on leadership? Are they just naturally leading the team? And
Mhm.
that could be someone that's like a lower level position right now that you can see really really growing into that. So just kind of keeping an eye on that. It's definitely uh, a potential, and it works out really well in terms of like what you've built in your culture, selling to someone that knows that and can carry it on. So
Are you guys doing the same thing right now? Like kind of grooming the team now?
it's a little early. I
Well,
don't
no,
know.
but like
I mean, I do think that sometimes.
good.
I don't think that there's any grooming happening, but I do look for those qualities, not just for like ownership in a long time, in quite a few years, but just people that are going to grow and will eventually be a leader if they're still at your agency or somewhere else, and just helping them grow just their individual position, and whether or not that means they buy your agency someday or not, it's still beneficial for everyone. So
Yeah. No, I hope you guys do that because I never want this name to end. Like I just think it's a
yeah,
cool story to just keep continuing. Even though the first owner sold outside, but like if you guys keep selling inside, like I
it
think
would
that's
be
really
really cool. I
cool,
agree.
right? Like, and that just gives, I think, too, people join the team, be like, man, I got this option. Like I'm building, this asset, for us versus just for the owner.
Mhm.
A lot of times, I don't know. I just think that's a cool story. So,
Yeah,
congrats.
thank you. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, if you guys enjoyed this episode, make sure you share it out. Share it out with your business partner or another agency because it's a really cool story. And, I think it'll make you think. And if you want help thinking through some of these ideas, not just with me, but other cool agency owners that have gone through it and that are going through it right now and can see a lot of the landmines that you haven't, make sure you reach out to us. We have a really cool small knit community of amazing agency owners that want to help you and want help from you. So if you want that, go to agencymastery.io. And until next time, have a swank day. I hope you enjoyed this content. If you want more content like this, make sure you click on the
link on the screen, or check out your most popular podcast platform where the full episode is there. And until next time, have a SWENK day. What are you doing? Go check it out. Click on the link. I'll see you soon.